All right, everybody, how are you doing today? Super excited for you to be with us. I'm not sure why my screen's not working right. Super excited for you to be with me today. We are going to be talking about what makes a good deal. And this is one of the topics that I find so many people just don't understand. Because keep in mind, in real estate, you make money when you buy properties and you realize that money when you sell it. And it really comes down to understanding what really makes a good deal and what isn't a good deal, and understanding differences between those two are vital. And that's going to be the topic of conversation for today. And we're going to get into this. All right, guys, let's just jump right into here we go. What makes a good deal is what we're going to be talking about. So what you're going to walk away with today, what you're going to learn is finding tip of the week. We're going to talk about involuntary liens and what they are and how you can use those. We're going to talk about the 4 things that make up a really good deal. We're going to get into some common risk factors that can ruin a deal and how you can avoid them. We're going to talk about how to determine your profit on a property. We're going to talk about how to know if the price is right on a property. All right, but before we do, London's talking about a good negotiation is one of the things. Nymph says no sound. You should have sound now. If not, let me know. When everybody wins is a good negotiation. Some have said negotiation's good when everybody loses a little bit, which I think is an interesting perspective as well. Let's see here. Libby is ready. Ryan is ready to talk about good deals. Cody, hey. Nice to have you back, Cody. Always love to have you here. Let's see here. What do we got? Cody's from Fort Worth, Texas. We're going to talk about that here in a minute. Today's agenda, we're doing our welcome updates, which is what we're doing right now. We're going to jump into some real estate news. We'll talk about a finding tip of the week, which is going to be what we talked about earlier, involuntary liens. Our topic of the week, which is what makes a good deal. I'm going to talk about some things you probably haven't thought about that can make or break deals. And always, we're going to do our free t-shirt giveaway. And we also have a free tool every single week. If you haven't been with us before, thank you for being with us. I really appreciate it and love having you here. This show is for entertainment purposes only. Before you make any financial moves, consult a real estate professional, attorney, CPA, or other professionals in the subject matter. Everybody's situation is different. There's no one size fits all. DHM may receive payments from the show from sponsors, guests, giveaways, items, books, discounts, or other remunerations. As with anything in life, results come from education, following a system, hard work, and determination. Follow through until the end. Welcome, everybody. If you haven't already, and lots of you haven't, please give me your name and the city and state you're investing in. Take the good example of Cody from Fort Worth, Texas, or Libby from Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas, kind of the same there. And who else has always told? We've had a lot of people say hello, but I don't know. So London, love to know. Nymph, Cam, who else? Libby told us. Ryan, let's see, who else have I got here? I haven't said. Colette, let me know where you guys are from. And those that haven't said hello so far, please say hello. We'd love to have you in the chat. If you're watching this as a recording, please join us live every single Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We do this live cast, and I'd love to have you join us with that. Shout out to Ethel from Detroit, Michigan. We got Colette from New Jersey. We got Authentic Business Management. Love to know your name, but we'll go by with your company, I'm assuming. Marcella from Illinois. Melissa's from Virginia. All right, guys, I'm loving this. The other thing we do is we do a t-shirt giveaway every single week. Let's talk about what we are giving away here. So we've got a couple of, I just tossed a shirt. That's a problem. So this is one of our shirts. This is our original. This is our I Flippin' Did This. We also have our shirt. This is our Flippin' Legends edition, and this is our 3/4 sleeve Flippin' Legends editions. This is our short sleeve Flippin' Legends summer edition. And hang on, guys, I gotta grab this shirt because when I grabbed them, it flew all the way over here. Oh man, I'm knocking stuff over. I'll be back. Here we go. This is our I Made It Through Rehab shirt, popular with our contractors. and popular with those who make it through their first rehab. So we'll be giving away one of those shirts. At the end of each live cast, we'll announce the winner for last week's winner. So from here on, you'll be winning for next week. Last week's winner has already been decided and is in my slides. We're going to be talking about it. Now, one of the things I got to have you do for me is I need a photo of you for those that have been winners in the past. And if you've been a winner in the past, let me know some of your winners in the past. But post a picture of you in the shirt on our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/DoHardMoney, because we would love to have that. Now, this is how you win the shirt. But before we do, I need to give a few more shout outs. What do we have? Want to get started? I'm in Baton Rouge, wanting to invest in Kansas. All right, Alfredo. Top Real Estate Kid, you've been here before, Top Real Estate Kid. I'm in Atlanta for another week, then back to New York to do some virtual flips. Love it. That's fantastic. Libby is loving the shirts. Authentic Limbo. I can't wait to get one of those. Yeah, awesome, Libby. Glad you guys are loving the shirts. Who's been a shirt winner that's with us today? I know we've got some shirt winners that are with us today, so let me know. This is how you win the shirt. You ask great questions and leave positive comments. We're looking for high interaction, talking, questions, that type of stuff. Comment on the recorded video. Once this video goes live, then the recording will happen as well. And each week I choose one winner that will be the winner of one of our shirts of the week. Guys, if you're enjoying these live casts and you want to see them continue, I really need your help. Currently, we're at 5,270 subscribers, and my goal is to get to 5,500 subscribers before the end of May, okay? So we need 230 new subscribers for us to get there. And one of the advantages you have of being a subscriber is every single day I upload a new video of the day. Here's one on flipping house partnership agreements or deed in lieu versus short sale. Every day I answer a specific question, and they're anywhere from like 3 minutes to 10 minutes, sometimes 12 minutes, but they're meant to be really short. And if you have a question you want to have me answer, I'll put a video together like this just for you and for my other amazing YouTube subscribers. All you got to do is put a comment in one of these short Just Ask Ryan videos, and I'll create a video for you. And love to have you as a subscriber. So please help us out with the channel. Hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up button, hit that bell notification on our Do Hard Money YouTube channel, and leave a comment on the recorded video. And the highest compliment you could possibly give me is to tell someone else about it. Now, we've got a free gift we give away every single week, a different gift each week, but we've got, let's see here. I drove for dollars today and found 5 possible distressed owners with liens on properties. So this is right on time. Awesome, Top Real Estate Kid. Love it. Oscar, I'm Oscar from Boston. Yeah, Oscar, you've been here before. I think you've been here before. I appreciate you coming back. Libby, the first one, the original. So you like, Libby likes our, I flippin' did it. That is the original shirt. Let's see here. Fantastic. So what we're going to be giving away today is a property value analysis sheet, okay? What this basically does is help you determine the values of the property by going through and putting a worksheet together. And I'll tell you guys, looking at these comps and following this is something you're going to want to do, whether it's your first deal or your 50th deal. And if you would like to get a link to my property value analysis, that's what I use in determining if deals meet the values that I'm looking for or not. I will give one to you completely free, and I'll give you the link at the end of this live cast so that you can get a copy of that. If you're interested in getting a copy of this, please type it in the comments. I'd really like to know. It's something you would love to get your hands on. All right, guys, let's jump into the real estate market update. What's going on in the real estate market? A couple things I think you need to know about is they're making some changes to Fannie and Freddie and their ability to buy second home loans as well as investment loans. They're limiting that to only 7% of the overall portfolio of what they'll actually purchase, which means you're going to be paying a little higher rate for non-owner occupied or for second homes, and that's something you need to be aware of. The question is will there ever be a bubble? It seems like real estate keeps going up, and the answer is Not right now. There doesn't seem to be any of these with the absence of these subprime and no doc or underwater mortgages like we had in 2008. That was really a thing of the past. I'm not quite sure how homebuilders can increase inventory right now. Land values have gone up, and unless there's some catastrophic event, they don't see prices going down anytime soon. 6 compelling reasons why no crash is imminent. Inventories are at record lows. Builders can't supply inventory quickly enough. Mortgage rates remain near historic lows. Demographic trends are creating new buyers, and lending standards remain strict. Foreclosure activity is also muted, are some of the things we're seeing. All right, what do we got here? Gwen from Charleston. I'm client to him, but I'm not going to deal with the company, but it's not from trying. Gwen, keep it up. I'd be really interested if you've been following the Driving for Dollars and have put your next deal blueprint together. I'd really recommend doing that. I think it's going to be your next step. Love to get my hands on that analysis sheet. Fantastic. We'll be giving that link at the end. Same with Alfredo. Wants to get that analysis sheet. I would love the analysis. Have 3 multifamily deals. I didn't check the numbers. Fantastic, Libby. We'll have that here at the end. And we've got Galen from Atlanta. Galen, thanks for being with us today. What's the best way to find out about homes that are boarded up? Great question, Libby. My recommendation on that is Driving for Dollars. If you're not familiar with that strategy, I've got a couple of videos that are on that. You can check out on YouTube, but I would highly recommend you do that because eyes on the ground, boarded up homes are not something that has to get disclosed to the city or anything like that in most cases. Gwen Dunn found a few and have closed 2. Gwen, that is fantastic. So you've already closed 2, but we need to get some more going for you. That's fantastic. Okay, about 4.8 million millennials are turning 30. Let's see, sky-high lumber prices, we talked about that. A lot of millennials are turning 30 and they're deciding they want to start entering the home buying process. 43% of millennials have been looking for a house for the last year. Biden's tax proposals could have an effect on, Libby, so let me just clarify this. You're saying that you found the 2 deals you did through Driving for Dollars. Is that correct? That's awesome. Fantastic work. How Biden's tax proposal could impact real estate investors. Basically, Biden's talking about getting away from 1031 exchanges, which is going to have an impact on real estate investors that are doing buy and hold type properties. The other thing that he's looking to do is get rid of what's called accelerated depreciation. So that's something you've got to take into consideration on some of these. It hasn't happened yet, but it's there. Obviously, the COVID rocketed the real estate market. Let me saying Saturdays and Sundays are my best days to drive. Fantastic. Cody, who's with us today, I know you're getting into the Driving for Dollars stuff. I'm interested in what you've done so far. How the U.S. home market was rocketed by COVID and where to go from here. A lot of stuff going on there. Let's talk about the property finding tip of the week. Gotta grab a drink here. Hey, Kate, will you reach out to Libby? Libby, will you connect with Kate so we can get a little more details? I'd like to know more about those deals that you did on the Driving for Dollars, and what happened on those. So let's talk some more. Property finding tip of the week. Today we are going to be talking about involuntary liens. What is an involuntary lien? When to use them? Why postcards versus letters? Are they cost effective? And some more to come on that. What is an involuntary lien? A voluntary lien is one where you agree to have it put on your house. For example, like a mortgage, you're agreeing to that. A line of credit, you're agreeing to that. An involuntary lien, it put on your house without you agreeing. So who can put a lien on your home without your agreement? Well, one is a tax lien. Tax lien is always there. Property taxes are not paid. These typically are paid as part of the loan escrow, but not always. They can lien your property. They always have a lien on the property. HOA liens, these are homeowner association liens. If you don't pay those dues, then they can lien your property. Another one is mechanics liens, and this would be for work done on the property. That's going to be your mechanics liens. General contractors can put a lien against the property. Utility liens, water, sewer, garbage, gas, any of those can have liens. Solar liens are becoming more popular. It's one that's been put on the property if payments have not been made. child support liens for not paying child support, and there's a few other things that can come up from time to time. This basically, to me, means there's a problem, right? If they can't pay for utilities, or they can't pay for taxes, or they can't pay for those things, they may need to sell their house, which is going to give them some motivation. But the issue is this alone is not enough. Meaning, if somebody owes money on a mechanics lien but has no equity in their home, it's not really going to help. It's not an opportunity where I can help them out. The same is true if they owe like $200. They may not be in a bad enough situation where they're going to be motivated to sell their property. And so I like to look at involuntary liens that are $5,000 or greater. More than most people can come up with, meaning most people don't have $5,000 laying around they can just come up with. I like to look at single family houses. I also like to see houses that are not listed on the multiple listing with $50,000 or more in equity is what we're looking for. So the question is, how do you do this? Well, you put in a zip code. And if you're a member with us, you have access to Investor's Edge, and we create things called buckets. Okay, looks like I got logged out here, but let's get logged in real quick here. And we're going to do Chicago because I know we've got a few Chicagans. That's probably not right. What are people from Chicago called? Chicagoans? I don't know. Somebody correct me on that. I know I'm saying it wrong. Texas is Texans. Anyway, here we go. Looks like we're loading slow here. One of the things we're going to be doing is we'll put in Chicago or somewhere else here and look at some of these involuntary liens. While that's loading, though, let's talk about this. We create these different buckets, and with these different buckets, you can then build a list. So you can check on these properties, you can create and add a list, and then you can create a new list, you can name that list, and then the way you name things is actually very important. So city, zip, state, date, that type of stuff. Then with this list, what you can actually do is you can come into a skip trace type situation where you can start skip tracing the property and to try and get the owner's information. Then from there, you can set a voice broadcast or you can actually, there we go. You can set a voice broadcast, you can do postcards, and you can do a variety of different ways to make those deals happen. I am not sure why my computer is throwing a fit today, but it is not happy. We'll give it just a minute here, and then we're gonna continue on. We must press on. We'll see what's happening here. Our investors have software, not sure. My computer connection's having an issue here. Let's see. Shouldn't be because we're live streaming today. Here or there, we're gonna press on. What I want to really make a point here is you can get this information on involuntary liens. And with this involuntary liens, then you can go after those properties as long as they have equity. And one of the things that Investor's Edge makes it really easy to do is see who has equity, who has involuntary liens over $5,000 single family within certain zip codes, which is exactly what you're going to want to be seeing as you're going out into market to these properties. How do you get access to that, Libby? Yeah, just check in with us and we can get you access to that. It's our Investors Edge software. Kate just put a link in there, which is fantastic. Thank you, Kate. All right, guys, we are going to talk about what makes a good deal. What you're going to learn today is the 4 things that make a good deal. We're going to talk about common risk factors that can ruin a deal. We're going to talk about how to determine your profit on a property, how to know if the price is right. Today, we're going to be talking primarily about single-family houses. We're going to be talking about fix and flips, a little bit of wholesales, maybe some rental properties. Remember, single-family houses is up to a 4-plex. And we're going to be talking about what makes a good deal. So we're not going to really be talking about software. We're not really going to be talking about commercial properties or anything else like that. Yeah, Glenn, I'm not sure. Okay, so we're also going to talk about, first and foremost, what it makes a good deal. First and foremost is price. Even a not great property at a great price may be worth doing. So my number one thing is price. That's my number one key to finding a really good deal. I asked, what do you like? What do you not like? Price is everything. You have to know what the right price is. Understanding how to value a property is absolutely critical. That's a skill I find most people don't know how to do, is value properties. It's one that you've got to understand and get good at. So how do you know what to pay for a property? What determines your after repaired value? When you determine the rehab cost estimate, you'll then ask for full costs and you'll go get the property under contract, right? So you gotta have, what's the after repaired value? How much is the rehab cost? And then you can go and work on getting the property under contract. But the question is what are these costs? Well, there's a lot of costs involved. You've got title fees, you've got agent fees, you've got taxes, you've got transfer taxes, utilities, insurance, interest, origination, lender fees, attorney's fees, and that can really add up to be quite expensive. It can be a lot. And we developed the advanced deal analysis for the purpose to make it quite a bit simpler for you to be able to calculate these things. And so most investors, they use simple. They do 70% of the after repaired value minus the cost of repairs. So if the after repaired value on the property would be $100,000 and repairs were $20,000, you would be $70,000 because that's 70% of the $100,000 minus the $20,000 in repairs, which would put your purchase price at $50,000 if the after repaired value was $100,000. Let's just give you a rule of thumb. But again, our advanced deal analysis makes that so much simpler for you and can also help you get a little tighter, because if you're too low on those numbers, you're going to have a hard time finding deals, especially in a competitive market like we're dealing with at the moment. The advanced deal analysis is available to our members to get those numbers closer than that, just down and dirty. Okay, number two. The next thing is price range, right? So price range. You want to invest in properties you have the highest likelihood to resell. Most buyers are going to get an FHA or a VA loan. The majority of them are going to. So you want to invest in properties that will sell or resell in that range. So we're talking about FHA and VA price range, which I should say FHA. They establish a maximum loan amount, okay? This is done by county, and the FHA or VA is doing this. So you search this. All you got to do is just do a Google search by county, FHA loan limit for whatever county. Here's some Georgia counties, right? Bacon, Banks. Bacon's a great, I don't, most counties should be called Bacon because it makes me hungry thinking about it. Bryan County, right? So you see one family in Bacon County, the loan max is $356,000, right? So it gives you an idea of what you're dealing with there. So example, let's talk about Cook County, Illinois. FHA range there is $379,000. So you just Google that. And that's why when we talk about this price ranges, you want to make sure that that after repaired value when you're done isn't over that $379,000 or whatever it is in your area. When you Google and you find out what's the FHA loan maximum for your area, you want to make sure your resale price when you're done with the property doesn't exceed that. And the whole reason for this is the majority of buyers are getting an FHA loan. And if you can sell a property where they can get an FHA loan, you're going to have the majority of buyers that are looking at your property. So if the property is $379 at 70%, you're going to want to be buying somewhere around $270,000 of your acquisition price, is basically 70%. All right, guys, let's move on to number three. The third big thing we're looking for is location. You do not want to be in rural areas. This is about being in major metro areas. It comes down to market. You need property transactions and you need lots of them. Meaning, if there are not enough buyers and sellers that are happening in the area, this is not an area you want to be in. It's hard to comp, it's hard to find buyers, you're going to have difficulties with loans, you're going to have rural issues. That's a big deal. Stay out of rural properties. The area's got to be a big enough area that there's many contractors, many buyers agents. Like, that is all necessary to make sure that you're going to have the biggest bang for your buck. And the smaller the area, the harder it actually is. This is an example of Virginia. So you have an idea of where some of the dark is, areas we can lend. The lighter is areas we might lend, but you really want to stick to those darker areas, and the white are areas that we just can't lend in. So if you look at some of these, there's a lot of the state where it's like, we just can't lend there. Those are going to be considered your rural areas and things you've got to be aware of. And it really comes down to what are called metro areas. Major metropolitan areas is what you're going to want to be looking for in finding a good deal. Now, You've maybe heard this before from me, but this is called Remember the Burger King rule. And a long time ago, I bought a house that was kitty corner from a Burger King. So my house wasn't on a busy street. It was a few doors in from a busy street, but it was kitty corner from a Burger King. And the Burger King was pretty big and it had the drive-thru and that type of stuff. And so I just said, you know what? I think if I give a $20,000 deduction, I'll be able to sell this house all day long. Well, the problem was is I underestimated how much of a deduction somebody wants to smell grilled Whoppers. You may not know this, but they start cooking those like at 9 a.m. And so they've got them all ready to go. Those grilled Whoppers smell in the morning. It's hard to determine what somebody's willing to pay or need in a reduction in order for them to want to live across from a place like that. So at a low enough price, someone will pay for it, but knowing how low it will be is very, very risky. And it's best to have little or no risk factors. That's what we're looking for. So the most common risk factors are boarded up homes. If a home is vacant, banks or owners will put boards over the windows and doors to protect it against possible vandalism on the property. If you see boarded up properties, you should be a little bit concerned. Why is the house sitting and not sold? Why is there no work being done to this property? What is the demand really in this area? What's the concern for high crime in this area? So I'm looking for boarded up homes. If there's boarded up homes and too many of them in the area, I'm really concerned about that. Busy streets. Let's talk about busy streets. Keep in mind that anytime there's a double yellow line on the road indicating speed limits over 30 miles per hour, you're increasing your risk. You just are. Most people aren't wanting to live on a busy street. So you've got to be prepared for that. All right, guys, commercial properties. This could be a Burger King or even a warehouse. Very few people grow up hoping to buy a home next to a warehouse or an apartment complex. It just means there's more activity, there's more traffic, there's not as much pride of ownership. So proximity to commercial property, and this is important. You don't want to be right next door to, a big warehouse, but being close to be able to buy your groceries and to shop and that type of stuff is important. So there's an opportunity here. Now, I realize in some of our areas, like in Chicago and that type of stuff, where we have mixed use, that's a different story. But that's not what I specifically want to tackle in this section. The other thing is high rental area. If the property's like high rents, there's a lot of rents that are happening in the area. That can be concerning because, again, you're dealing with pride of ownership. The highest resale is selling to homeowners, not to landlords. If you're selling to landlords, you're not going to get as much money out of it. I recommend selling to landlords if you're wholesaling properties. If you're wholesaling properties, selling to landlords typically will yield you the better price. But if you're reselling a fix and flip, a homeowner is going to be willing to pay a better price than a landlord is. So it's something to take into consideration. Next thing we're talking about here, and to know what's a great deal, is crime. High crime in the area have two risks. You have the risk of vandalism that most insurance companies don't cover on a rehab property. This is something you need to check on. I've looked at multiple policies and had issues with crime that was not covered. So that's something you've got to be really, really cognizant about because if there is a risk of vandalism, it may not be covered, and that could be a big problem. And it's harder to sell a resale property if there's a lot of crime in the area. So you've got to be prepared for that. And what percentage of rental properties is too much really just comes down to the area and the pride of ownership. I like to see the majority, 60, 70%, 80% are things that I want to see in the rental or in the homeowners with 20, 30% in rentals. It's really hard to judge that. You've really just got to drive around and see where the pride of ownership is and get an idea on like apartments.com or some of those sites. As far as crime, it's hard to gauge that resale on the property. So my rule of thumb for crime is would I not let my wife walk down the street alone at night? If I wouldn't let my wife walk down the street alone at night, I don't want to buy properties like that. And so a little pro tip that I use, I like to use crime reports or I like to use Zillow. One of the best is when it actually has the crime data. And in some places, they don't push their crime data to crime reports or Zillow. And in that case, you actually need to call the police department directly and ask them for crimes and things that have happened in the area or see where they report to so you can visualize and see the crimes that have happened in and around that area. As far as crime, I'm looking for like shootings. I'm looking for violent crimes. I'm not looking for more blue-collar crimes or or petty theft. All those things are important. There's a lot of them, but I'm looking for trends, and every area is going to have some sort of crime. My neighborhood I live in has has had some crime here and there, but it's not excessive. It's occasional, that type of stuff. So you're looking for trends. You're looking for consistency. You're looking for violence. That's typically what I'm concerned about. Let's talk a little bit about train tracks. A train that interrupts sleep every night is going to have an impact for the bad against values on the property. So if the home is in an urban area, a light rail train could be a benefit rather than a detriment. So you've got to take that into consideration as well. Next thing we're talking about here is non-conforming to the area. This could be a single-family house in the middle of duplexes. That is non-conforming for the area, meaning you're going to have a hard time reselling that property. You have a hard time getting comps, and it doesn't conform to the area, which is a problem in trying to get the most money you possibly can out of it. Okay, next we want to talk about hold time or cash flows, right? So we're talking about hold time or cash flows is what we're looking at. So holding time, this is for fix and flips. What is the days on the market for the area? What is the rehab time frame? How long is it going to take for the rehab to actually get done on the property? Determine the interest costs for the period of time. Interest can kill your profits, and I'm talking to you as a lender. I want to loan you money, but interest will kill your profits. I want to make sure you make as much as you possibly can. For example, on time, if the market's 270 days and your rehab is 90 days, that could be a year-long process for you holding this property. That's going to kill a lot of interest that you would rather have as profit. So looking at the time frame on deals, generally you want to have that under 120 days in marketing. The shorter time, the better. Next, talking about cash flow, and this is for rental properties. So understanding taxes, insurance, and rents. This will help you determine your actual cash flow. And we have a calculator for our members to use this to make determinations about what makes great rental properties. So price makes a good deal. The price range of the property, the location of the property, the marketing and time on the market are all things that you've got to be looking at to make a determination if this is a great deal or not. All right, guys, we have a system that can take brand new investors or investors looking to scale through their very first fix and flip. It's called our Find, Fund, Flip system. We have dozens of hours training. We have deal finding software, access to our 100% financing. If you want to see this, check it out at DoHardMoney.com/get started. Now, for those of you that wanted to get your hands on this property value analysis, who said they wanted to get their hands on it? I'm just going through here. Let's see. I want to get a copy. Alfredo wants to get a copy. Authentic Business Management wants a copy. Lynn wants a copy. So if you want to get a copy of the property value analysis, all you got to do is text me your email address to 435-294-0433. 435-294-0433. Text me over your email address, and we'll send you a copy of our property value analysis. Also put a link on the chat right now and in the description below. If you're enjoying these and you enjoyed this one, please hit that thumbs up button. It tells YouTube I am doing a great job, and I like to do a great job and would love your feedback on that. So also hit the subscribe button. Do I have any new subscribers today? Do I have anybody that is not currently a subscriber that's listening? If so, hit the subscribe, type your name in the comments because I'd like to give you a shout out and a thank you. Now, future topics. What would you guys like to see for some future topics? I've got several listed on the screen here, and I'd love to have you just type in the comments what you would like to have for future live casts so we can build it into our strategy and the things that we're putting together here. Now, while you're thinking about that, type in what you'd like me to do future live cast on. Make sure you text me 435-294-0433. Text me and say that you want to text me your email address, and I'll send you the property value analysis. All right, we got a few new people. Authentic Business is new. Thank you very much. I appreciate you being a new subscriber. Ed is a new subscriber, and it looks like Keith is a new subscriber as well. Thank you very, very much. Look forward to having a great and long relationship with you. If you have liked what you have heard today, please share this YouTube link with a friend or several friends. That's the highest compliment I can receive. But also check out my Income Hacker podcast. Income Hacker, you can find that on Spotify. You can find it on Stitcher. You can find it on Apple. You can find it wherever you listen to podcasts. Check out Income Hacker. And again, if you haven't got that free property value analysis, text me or email to 435-294-0433. Let's see, Mark saying, find an investor-minded CPA. Oh, interesting. That's Mark. I don't know. I think some of the good firms do that. So I started out with a small CPA. Luckily, it was the same CPA that my mom and dad used, and so he's familiar with real estate. And then we kind of outgrew him and went to another firm. We've got a fairly large firm. I don't know if I could give you any expertise other than I would ask the CPA if he owns rental properties. Like a buddy of mine's a CPA and he also owns rental properties. That guy's going to get it. I would also talk to your apartment association and see if they have any CPA recommendations, or that would be kind of the next thing I would look to. So I hope that's helpful for you, Mark, because I sure appreciate it. Okay, it's the big time. Everybody's been waiting for it. Who is our winner of the week? Who's going to walk home with one of our new amazing shirts? And the winner is, big drum roll, please. The winner is Michael J. Isaac. Michael, I don't think you're with us today. I hope so. If so, please type it in the comments. But Michael, you are our t-shirt winner of the week. We're going to pay for the shirt. We're going to pay for the shipping. And we're going to send it all out to you. All we ask is you send us a picture by posting it on our Facebook channel. We would really appreciate that. So what I need to have you do is email support@DoHardMoney.com. Put in the shirt winner, your screen name, your mailing address, your cell phone, and your shirt size, and we will send you out that free shirt. Congratulations to Michael for being our t-shirt winner of the week. If you haven't already, get that property value analysis. Text me at 435-294-0433. Text me your email address. Now, for all of you for this week and throughout the week, if you want to find out if you're the winner for next week, you've got to join us next week to find out if you are the winner. Join us Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to be covering the wholesaling process from beginning to end. This has been pretty popular. You're not going to want to miss this. I'll be talking about that next week, Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, if you haven't gotten that property value analysis, text me your email address to 435-294-0433. Got a few comments. I want to give some shout outs. Congratulations to Michael. Absolutely, Libby. Thank you. Brand new wannabe investor from Ohio, Vincent. Thanks for joining us. Subscribe and keep joining us. And we'll take it from a wannabe to a gonna be to a just did. We want to make sure we do that. So make sure you get a copy of that property value analysis. All right, guys, I really appreciate you being with me today. Enjoyed last week's show twice. Oh, awesome. I really appreciate that. Mark, thanks for being with us. And that's a great point, Mark. You can go back and watch these a second time or slow them down or speed them up. So I'm excited for you to be with us. Otherwise, guys, I really appreciate you being with us. I really appreciate you being subscribers. I really strive to deliver the best content humanly possible to help you in your real estate investing and want to deliver great value to you. And I do that, the thanks that I get from that is, subscribing. So please consider subscribing. Otherwise, guys, please make it a very profitable day and bye for now.